What is the most important medical school interview question, right? Everyone has their own theory, and to be honest, you don't really know what question they're going to ask you when you go to the medical school interview. You really don't. But there's one question, or rather one statement, that they will always, always, always ask you. And to be honest, this might hold for any job interview, period. It doesn't even have to be related to medicine. But that question slash statement is, tell me about yourself. Who are you, right? And the reason why I say this is the most important question, although it may seem very basic, trust me, it's really not. But they use this question or the statement to introduce the interview. And the reason why they do that is because they're giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the rest of the team or to them personally, right? And why I say this is the most important question is because this question gives you complete creative control. And as an interviewer, we want to give the interviewee a complete creative control so they can, set the tone, set the mood, and give us things to even discuss or talk about, right? When someone says, who are you? You don't just say, oh, how you doing? My name is blah, 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 and I'm from here, and I'm here to interview. No, that's the worst answer possible you can give, right? What you want to do is tell me who you are, like in like an autobiography type of thing. So when you read like someone's autobiography, right? You're reading about them, you figure out who they are, where they grew up, how they were, how they felt during important moments of their lives, right? That's kind of what you're doing in this question, right? This question allows you to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about and give them an insight to who you are as a person and how you view your actual self. Because in the application process, right, through the resume, through the questions that they ask you, they're the ones dictating that, right? You can only answer whatever is asked of you, right? This question, in this scenario, the question they're asking you isn't something specific. When they ask who are you, you can tell me who you are back then, who you are now, who you want to be in the future, the type of person you want to be, You can tell me any stage of your life. You can choose anything in your life to talk about. And the reason why I say this question is so important, and I really love this question, is because based off what you say, right, that sets the mood, sets the tone, and also gives the person who's interviewing you an opportunity to dig deeper into whatever it is that you're talking about. So say someone says, who are you? I'm someone that puts others before myself. I'm someone that has a passion for cooking. I'm someone that dreams of this. I'm someone who pursues this for this reason, etc., right? And based off what you say, I'm going to think, so you mentioned that you have a passion for life on the edge experiences, which is why you did the whole, jumping off of a plane, skydiving experience, you've done motorcycle, car boats, and all that stuff, right? You've done all of these things. Interesting. Tell me more, right? This is your opportunity to freely speak. Who doesn't like a free speaker, right? These questions are not basic, actually. These questions are so involved. And honestly, I've had an interview before at a medical school where my who are you question literally superseded all the other questions in the past. And we talked about who I was pretty much the entire 8 minutes that I was doing it. It was like a mini interview type of style. But still, I mentioned who I was. I told them, this is who I am. These are who my parents are. I involved my parents. I involved my siblings. My parents, came from this country, moved over here to this country for this opportunity, had these kids are doing this, etc. This is who I was in middle school. This is who I was in high school. This is how I changed from high school into college. This is who I am now in college, trying to get accepted into medical school. This is what I want for my future. I gave so much information for these people that it was a continuous well of information. The people interviewing me, they were astonished by how open I was and how free I was when it came to speaking about my experiences and who I was as a person. And to be honest, they had follow-up after follow-up after follow-up questions. And the thing about when you interview, right, obviously people are going to say the most basic answers, because at the end of the day, you want to do medicine, you want to do good, right? You want to, you could save lives, you want to be a resource to your community, you want to give back, all that stuff. Yeah, we get it, right? So my thing is, if 100 of you guys are all saying the same thing, how's anyone gonna, how's anyone gonna differentiate you, right? At the end of the day, for a lot of these interview questions, the person interviewing you will be asking the questions, yeah? So if they are the ones asking the questions, they're going to expect an answer back. A lot of times people say there's no right or wrong answer because there's no specific right or wrong answer to any interview question. However, there is a generally right answer to give, you know, and at this point, if you guys are pre-med students applying to medical school and getting interviews, then trust me, you guys know the right things to say, or you know what not to say. And so when all of you guys are saying the generally right things to say, guess what? It leaves little room for us to differentiate you. But the one question that will always be different as far as the answer and the response is the who are you, right? You can't have the same first name, last name, grow up in the same area, have the same amount of siblings, have the same dreams, aspirations, and experiences. You just can't. So that is what differentiates you from everybody else. So I would say practice your who are you question. You have to. Anybody that I tutor when it comes to medical school interviews, I always tell you, practice your who are you question. Even if you're already in medical school and you're trying to apply into residency, practice your who are you question. Because this question, when you answer it, you're going to answer it for about, I would say a good answer, usually about 1 minute, 30 seconds to 3 minutes, right? You don't want to go overboard, but you don't want to keep it too short. You want to give them enough information, enough time to hear what you're saying, process it, and digest it. And then the follow-up questions will determine the mood of or the tone of the interview moving forward. So make sure, just to kind of, reiterate it a little bit, make sure when you're answering this who are you question, you are telling me who are you as a person, right? What is your background? Tell me about your parents. Tell me about your siblings, right? Tell me about your upbringing. How was the neighborhood or the community that you grew up in? I want to hear all that information. Tell me what happened when you moved on from that neighborhood or community and you moved, let's say you went to college, or maybe you moved to another state for XYZ. Tell me about that. Tell me about the transitions you've noticed within yourself when you went from elementary school to middle school to high school to college to now where you are today. Tell me who you aspire to be, what you expect to accomplish in your lifetime. What are your goals, your aspirations? Tell me all of that stuff in that who are you question. And make sure you do not keep it strictly to academics. Please don't. The one thing I hate is when someone interviews someone, I ask them, who are you? And they start telling me about their research experiences and their academic experience. I'm like, that's not who you are, though. Because if that truly is who you are, then I don't know if you're best fit to be a physician, to be honest with you. Because let's be real, being a great physician doesn't have to do much with you being a great researcher, right? Doesn't have much to do with you being a great academic person, no. At the end of the day, when your patients come to see you, right, they don't want to hear about your lab work and, what molecules you've discovered in the lab or blah, blah, blah. They don't care about that. They want to know that you have personality and you're able to relate to them. You're able to speak with them comfortably where they can feel comfortable to let their guard down and answer your questions open and honestly. That way you can get to the proper diagnosis, treatment, management moving forward. So the point is, drop in some of these interesting things about you. Like, tell me these experiences that you've experienced. Tell me how you felt during these experiences. Tell me how you've grown. Tell me an inside look on who you are as a person. And basically how you answer this question should be, look at your, if you have one or two best friends, ask them, hey, who am I? And however your best friends describe you, it's kind of the way that we want you to describe yourself as well. Because your best friends know you. And I'm talking about best friends that have known you, from your upbringing, that can speak to your character. Because that's really what that who are you question is. It's a way for us to figure out, us being the people interviewing, to figure out, how do you perceive yourself? Out of your life, because you've lived it your entire life, right? How do you see yourself? And what kind of person do you think you are? Because that's what we really want to know through this interview. This is something that we can't see in your application. Maybe in your personal statement, you can kind of drop little hints, but you're limited to a certain amount of characters, right? In this interview, if you can talk for 4 or 5 minutes, go ahead. Why not? They'll stop you if they need more time. But I've done a who are you question before, and I've talked for I think it was 3 or 4 minutes. And we ended up not even using the other questions they had prepared because they were so intrigued with my who are you question. So please take time, practice that question. It's probably the most important interview question you will be asked. All right, guys, drop any comments, questions, concerns down below, and check you guys at the next video.